Good morning. I just left the chiropractor, got all crack-a-lackled in my bones, and now it's time for a coffee. I just finished my own wellness challenge, 35 Thrive, yay me. And so it has been a while since I have been able to have my go-to iced mocha with almond milk. And so today is what we're doing. Also got myself a little chocolate donut to have for dessert later. I haven't been avoiding dessert on 35 Thrive, but I just haven't seen those donuts in quite some time, and they're really good, and obviously gluten-free. I have like an hour until I have to hop on a series of meetings and calls for Holistic Fitness Labs. Creating your own business is hard, very rewarding, very fun, also very hard. Anyway, I have an hour, so I need to make myself some breakfast. So for breakfast, I'm making like an everything breakfast. Just taking everything that's in my fridge and trying to cram it into one breakfast because I am gonna be in town for a couple days starting tomorrow. So I just want to get through like all of the leftovers and random little bits and bobs that are in my fridge. So I have this giant bowl of leftover quinoa and so much chicken. I started boiling 2 eggs because I thought I would want more protein, but I might just have to have those eggs for a snack or just bring them with me because this is gonna be too much food if I also add eggs to this, because I also made bacon and I have some greens and some cheese and avocado and a little more of this tomato basil pesto, and I have sweet potato baking in the oven. I may have gone a little bit overboard. Okay, this breakfast may be much bigger than anticipated, but it's also much prettier and much more delicious looking than anticipated, so I'm happy. So today I do want to tell you guys about my experience with 35 Thrive, the results that I got and all that good stuff, because honestly it wasn't what I was completely expecting, if that makes sense. Like most of it, like I made the challenge, I knew what it was gonna do, I've done most of these things before, but doing them all in combination and then the way I personally decided to approach it, I think just gave me a different experience with it than I was originally expecting. No, Cleo. You want the chicken? I know you want the chicken here. Something I started doing during this challenge, not because the challenge requires it in any way, shape, or form, but something I started doing was tracking my macros again. And I started loosely tracking a little bit before I even started the challenge because, as I told you guys, I've been running more, and so I want to make sure I'm eating enough total calories and eating enough protein. So I was kind of like tracking here and there, and Cleo, get your butt out of the camera. And something that I realized when I started tracking is that I probably wasn't eating quite as much protein as I should have been for my goals. And then when I started doing 35 Thrive, one of the things you have to do is work out every day. And that doesn't mean like an intense workout every day. It can be as simple as like stretching for 30 minutes, but having to do that every day was making me very consistently active, and so I started tracking more consistently just to make sure I really would be eating enough and to work on getting my protein on track. So nutritionally, those are kind of my goals right now, like make sure I'm not under eating, make sure I'm eating enough protein, and I think this breakfast accomplishes that because I just tracked it and it's like 900 calories and like 80 grams of protein. So we're off to a great start for the day. People wonder why I don't eat lunch. This is why I don't eat lunch, because I start my day with 900 calorie meals. I can guarantee you after eating this, I'm not gonna be hungry for lunch, and I'm not gonna be thinking about food until dinner time rolls around and I start getting hungry. That's why one of my biggest tips for people who struggle with overeating at night is to eat a huge breakfast, because if you're worried you're gonna overeat at night and so you restrict all day because you're like, oh no, what if I overeat tonight? I need to make sure I'm restricting, then of course you're gonna overeat at night. But if your first meal of the day is a large meal and full of protein and healthy fats and complex carbs and fiber and all of the things that are going to keep you nourished and full, you won't have to obsess about food all day because you won't be hungry. You will be
fully satiated. And then when you get to dinner time or evening time, you won't feel the need to overeat because you're already satiated. Now, you don't have to have a 900-calorie breakfast, you don't have to skip lunch, but either way, if you start your day with a breakfast that's going to leave you full and satiated rather than feeling like you only ate 50% of what you're hungry for, that's just gonna set you up for success the rest of the day.
One debt to society later.
Alrighty, meetings accomplished. Now I desperately need to get some movement in, so I'm gonna go for a little walk. Also, I drank a little kombucha while I was in my meetings. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
It's 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
I think that means it's sweatshirt weather. So as I have exercised at least 30 minutes every day for the last 35 days, I think today it's gonna be a rest day. It actually felt really good to be super intentional about my movement every single day and to have that on my calendar every single day. But the last thing that I want to do is turn this challenge into like a negative relationship with exercise where I feel obligated to keep doing it after the challenge is over. Mostly because I'm the kind of person that really likes streaks. Like, I lose a Snapchat streak, oof, I'm still going on Snapchat. My longest streak ever started in 2008. When I was in middle school, I basically didn't drink water and I only drank vitamin water. And then we went on the 8th grade East Coast trip and I didn't drink vitamin water for that whole week. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see how long I can go without drinking vitamin water. And I haven't had a sip of vitamin water since. And now I will not have a sip of vitamin water because I will not lose this streak. And so I don't want to become obsessive like that with like a workout streak. You need to take a rest day every now and again. So today is a rest day, just getting in a little bit of walk. I'm not gonna be completely sedentary just because it's a rest day, because that would actually make me physically not feel good either. Anyway, this challenge really reframed my approach to exercise in a way that I wasn't really expecting from this challenge. Like, I was expecting to just develop like more consistency and discipline around exercise, because that's something that I've been struggling with a little bit, honestly, since I went through topical steroid withdrawal, and then there was the pandemic, and then I was like getting back on track, and then I was hoping that this challenge would help me build more consistency, and it absolutely has. But the really interesting thing is that because I said that you had to work out for at least 30 minutes every single day, that made me think about my approach to my exercise programming in a very different way. Because usually, like, my go-to is just to think like, I'm planning a workout, it's gonna take an hour, so I'm gonna plan an hour-long workout. But since I had to work out every single day, I didn't want to work out an entire hour every single day. I still wanted the volume and intensity throughout the week to be appropriate for my body. And so I scheduled my workouts to be 30 minutes. But what I found is that in shortening the workouts, there was a much lower like mental barrier to being consistent with the workouts. And then once I made that switch to only working out 30 minutes, I was like, I don't really want to drive all the way to the gym just to do only a 30-minute workout. And so I switched all my workouts to be able to do them all at home. I still went to the gym for some workouts because I do like the gym environment, but I made it so that it would be easy. I would just literally have to step outside into my backyard or step out into the great outdoors to go for a run. And I didn't have to go to the gym. I could just do whatever I needed right there. And then that lowered the mental barrier to getting my workout done. And so it became super easy to be super consistent with my workouts because of how I was kind of forced to like rethink my weekly workout plan. And then because I was being consistent, I started to feel really good about being consistent, and also just feel really good overall, because for the most part I was just like starting my day with like a quick workout, and so that in turn made it even easier to be consistent. And then within my workouts themselves, I felt like I was staying really focused and really getting so much out of them, because to do the workout in 30 minutes I had to like stay focused. I felt like I could really push myself because I knew I was only going to be pushing myself for half an hour, not a full hour. And so many like little things just kind of clicked into place over the 35 days, and I am absolutely gonna stick with this workout programming. Maybe not trying to go for every day, but like 6 days a week. I guess though, I just realized I should caveat this with the fact that I have been doing my exercises that my chiropractor gave me every single day, and those in themselves take 30 minutes. So like, I guess you could argue technically I was working out an hour every single day, but the chiropractor exercises are like, shake your head,
It's very like low-key. But since mobility work does count for the challenge, there were days where that was all I did. So I still had like rest days from like exercisey exercise, like running and lifting and stuff, but I was still intentionally moving my body for at least 30 minutes every single day. Now it's time for the fluffy nugget to get some outside time. Throughout the course of doing this challenge, I also feel like I've gotten a lot more energy and mental clarity and better, I don't know if it's mood or mental health, but like I think the decrease in social media use has been profound. And it's tough because like social media is my job, so it's been a little bit of a weird line to walk, but setting the like limit on my phone of like 1 hour of social media use a day just brought so much more attention and awareness to my own use of social media. Like, yes, I have to use it for work. It is important that I am watching other people's content and aware of what's going on in the fitness industry so that I can speak to it like if something is happening. But the number of times I pick up my phone to scroll while I'm already watching Netflix, like bro, the fact that my brain needs that much stimulation, not ideal. So I think that's something that I'm still working on. Like this challenge for 35 days has really brought my attention and awareness to it, but I think that awareness is showing me that I need to put more intention into it. But even so, cutting back on my social media use I think has been really helpful. These last like 2 weeks in particular, I feel like I've been really productive, and that's not just because of the lowered social media use, but also because I've been getting better sleep. It's because I've been starting my day with a really good amount of exercise for my body. It's the fact that my nutrition has been really high quality and all of that, which is really the whole goal of 35 Thrive in the first place. Is like, it's not a weight loss challenge, it is a wellness challenge. It is a challenge that if you do it should help you thrive because of all of the pillars in the challenge. They all work together very synergistically to get you to a place where you have more mental clarity, have more energy, have more focus, feel better, feel stronger, feel happier, feel healthier. And when you have all those things, so much in life starts to fall into place. Like you have more time for your hobbies, for your passions, for your side hustle if you're trying to work on that, for your kids, for socializing with friends. Now I feel so much more aligned and so much more like in tune with my life. I feel like I'm less on autopilot and more in the driver's seat. It's amazing how hard it is to tell you're not living optimally when you're living consistently, right? Like if your lifestyle is consistently putting you at like 75% output, you wake up feeling normal. You wake up feeling fine. You don't know that you could be doing 25% better. And so while I don't plan on like continuing this challenge forever, because like I said, I don't want it to become like a weirdly obsessive disordered relationship with like a wellness challenge, maybe I should just like sit down and journal about it for a bit, which I guess is kind of what I'm doing with this vlog. This vlog is kind of my journal, but just like reflecting on all the changes I made and how they really impacted me specifically and what I can take from that moving forward with the challenge. For anyone who's done this challenge already, who's finished 35 Thrive, please leave a comment down below with like your main takeaways and what you got out of it and what you plan on bringing with you throughout the future of your wellness journey, because I'm really curious. There's so much more to this than I thought there was gonna be, which sounds ridiculous because this is my own challenge, but like I guess I kind of just like proved my own point to myself. Oh, by the way, if anyone does want to sign up for this, you can go to 35thrive.com. Now that I have done it for myself, I can even more confidently say it's transformative, and I do feel like I'm thriving as opposed to surviving. I don't know where my cat went. What are you doing? I also assembled a new toy the other day and I'm so excited about it. It's a trampoline! But it's not just for fun and looking silly and feeling like a kid. It's because bouncing on a trampoline, or a rebounder if you wanna be fancy about it, can support lymphatic drainage. So it's good for helping your body's natural detox systems do their thing. So while Cleo relaxes in the backyard, I'm just gonna be here bouncing. So for dinner, since I'm leaving tomorrow and I don't have a lot left in the fridge, I just decided to order some food. So I got some pho. I got a steak pho there's rice noodles under there somewhere. And I'm heating up the broth right now. Bunch of bok choy in there, so I got some good fiber too. It's gonna be yummy. I asked for sriracha on the side and they did not give me sriracha on the side, and I do not have sriracha. So this is an unfortunate event, but I'm still very much looking forward to eating this. So when it comes to how my eating habits changed doing 35 Thrive, honestly I feel like most of my food didn't change too much, because for the most part I try to eat mostly whole and processed foods. I ended up cutting back on post-mating food, which probably good for my wallet and good for my body, so that's a huge win. But I think the biggest thing for me was realizing how much more consistent I had gotten with eating a lot of dessert every single night. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but what I used to do would be I'd go through my whole day of eating and then I would always eat like a little bit of chocolate at night, and that in itself was enough for me. I loved the chocolate. I was excited about the little bit of chocolate. It felt good, I felt good, and overall that's where I would like to be. But I had gotten to the point where I was eating like a significant amount of dessert most nights, and that's just not the place that I personally want to be in. That's not really in line with what I personally value, and I hadn't even really realized I was doing it until I started 35 Thrive and I had to cut a lot of dessert stuff out, and I was like, oh. And so this challenge forced me to go back to old school Marissa way of doing things, of finishing every night with just a little bit of chocolate. And I found Who Kitchen chocolate, pro tip, counts as unprocessed for 35 Thrive because all the ingredients are very natural. But I found just 2 tiny squares of Who Kitchen chocolate were enough to like satisfy my sweet tooth, satisfy my craving for chocolate, make me feel mentally satiated and not like I was craving dessert or anything. And so I really appreciate that this shifted me back towards that and taught me that that can be equally as mentally and physically fulfilling as having like Bubby's mochi. I think I was just like slowly getting a little bit more and more addicted to sugar, and this kind of just helped me snap out of that. And now I know I did have a donut tonight, but again, not trying to like stick to 35 Thrive rules for the rest of my life. I see nothing wrong with indulging once in a while, but I think that's my goal, is to kind of stick to what I used to do when it comes to dessert, which is just have my go-to be a couple squares of chocolate. And then overall, I think it just brought more like intention to my food and my eating. I tried some fun new recipes that I've been wanting to try. I got a little bit more experimental. And I know it probably feels like this whole video is just like a promo for the challenge, but first of all, the challenge is free. So like, I really don't gain anything from you signing up for it. I just think everyone should sign up for it. But that's kind of what I would like to emphasize with this video, is that the challenge itself has 5 things. It's just 5 things that you have to do every day for 35 days. For anyone who hasn't seen my previous videos on it, it's eating only whole and processed foods, exercising 30 minutes every single day. It doesn't have to be intense exercise. It can just be like stretching or mobility. Writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every day, limiting yourself to no more than 1 hour of social media a day, and going to sleep 9 hours before your alarm is set to go off in the morning. And if you wake up before your alarm, that's okay. You don't have to sleep for a full 9 hours, but giving yourself the space to sleep 9 hours. And it's just those 5 simple changes. And I feel like they have such a profound effect on my life in just 35 days. And the key takeaway here is that you don't have to do the most to get a huge benefit. Like, a lot of people see their fitness journeys as so black and white, and they come into it with a very perfectionist mindset where like if they're not doing everything perfectly and they're not doing literally everything, then they might as well do nothing. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, just making a few key shifts that are foundations of the different pillars of health are going to just radically transform your life. So I highly encourage anyone who wants to go through this to sign up for 35 Thrive at 35thrive.com. But even if you don't want to do 35 Thrive, I highly recommend like creating your own set of 3, 4, 5 things that you can shift, or even just one thing. You know, pick one thing and add a new thing every week or every 2 weeks or even every 3 or 4 weeks. Like, it doesn't have to be a fast transition. But you want to make sure that these things that you're adding are like the foundational things for like the key pillars of health, not things that like the internet tells us that we should do and like feel like a big deal but like aren't really a big deal, like cutting carbs. Like don't make that your thing, or like doing a ton of cardio or doing a juice cleanse. Like you need to pick the foundational strategic things that are gonna make a huge impact. These things are foundational for a reason, because they can make a huge impact. So I just think that's kind of cool, and I'm really happy that I did this. It is late. I'm about to get ready for bed, but I have one more cool thing to share that I got out of doing this challenge, and that is the improvement in my sleep quality. And I'm assuming it's just because I've been sleeping more, but I've seen an overall decrease in my average resting heart rate. For quite some time now, it's been, I don't want to say elevated, it's been like in the high 40s, low 50s, which is just higher than it used to be for me. And I think I know why, but that's like a whole other discussion. But in this last month, since making sure to actually just give myself as much time as I need to sleep, it has started to come back down to like the mid to low 40s on average, which is actually a pretty significant drop. So that's pretty cool. And then also over the course of the month, my heart rate variability improved as well. And the change in data is all fine and dandy, but I also do feel like I'm sleeping better. Like when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel as groggy. I don't feel like I need an hour to actually wake up and get my wits about me. I feel much more refreshed when I wake up. And part of that might also have just been the shifting in my sleep schedule. I'm going to sleep about 2 hours earlier than I was before. If I have like one weakness in the like health and fitness sphere, it is my bedtime.
Also, my morning iced milk is with almond milk.
2 weaknesses, but I shifted my sleep schedule about 2 hours. So that might also have contributed to it, but I do think the biggest thing is just consistently giving myself the time to get as much sleep as my body needs. It has been such a gift to myself. And I think if you're doing 35 Thrive or any other sort of wellness or health focused challenge, I really do recommend looking at all the things that you're implementing as gifts to yourself rather than like rules or things that you have to do. Because in theory, if you're doing a wellness or health focused challenge, the things that you're implementing really are benefiting you. They're benefiting your body, and so they really are just you giving yourself a gift of more sleep, of more energy, of higher quality fuel, of whatever it may be. And the amount of gratitude that you can kind of feel around framing it that way is so much more powerful and motivating than viewing it as restricting yourself in some way. And honestly, even beyond like challenges that you're implementing, like every time you go to the gym, that's a gift to yourself. Every time you choose to include more micronutrients in your diet, that's a gift to yourself. Every time you go to bed early, that's a gift to yourself. Every time you journal about what you're grateful for, gift to yourself and gift to the universe. So on that note, I'm gonna give myself the gift of hydration. I need to drink some water. And before I sign off, reminder that Fat Loss 101 is coming back, reopening for registration. Early bird registration will only be open for 2 days this time. So if you want to get in, make sure you're on the wait list at fatloss101.com. It will be open the last 2 days of April. Is that 29th and 30th? Yeah. And then regular registration will open on May 1st. But if you're doing 35 Thrive, you're gonna get a little extra special something something and even earlier access. So never hurts to be signed up for 35 Thrive also. So if you are doing 35 Thrive right now, keep your eyes peeled on your inbox and in the Facebook group, and you'll get some super fun info. And if you've done 35 Thrive or are doing 35 Thrive and you've noticed some of the same positive changes from this program, like I just 50x that in Fat Loss 101, like starting with 35 Thrive really does give you a really good baseline and momentum to go into Fat Loss 101, because Fat Loss 101 starts with essentially, technically it's phase 2, but like adding healthy habits. And so if you've gone through 35 Thrive, the ball is rolling, you're going in the right direction, might as well keep that momentum and just go straight into Fat Loss 101 if losing fat in a healthy, sustainable way so that you can lose it and keep it off for good is your goal. Anyway, didn't mean for this whole video to just be like one long promo for 35 Thrive. I just genuinely wanted to talk about my experience doing it. It just so happens to be my own challenge. But like I said, I think the key takeaway is the fact that you can just make these super basic shifts and experience profound benefits from them. And it doesn't have to be some like crazy program where you feel like you're dying in the gym every day and starving. In fact, it shouldn't feel that way. Fitness should feel good. I'll leave you with that. I'm gonna go drink my water, get ready for bed. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, your gym buddies. If you want to see more content from me all about health and fitness, you can check it out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I will see you very soon. Bye!